Welcome back to Speak Unspoken, man. I keep telling y'all every week, God is doing something different on this platform. The stories that I'm hearing, I'm just having to sit and just really soak in it, right? Because these are certain things, even growing up in my life, I never even heard of, right? Never seen, never witnessed, never anything, right? But I'm so grateful to God for the alignment in this season. And people that you once been amongst, you will never know their story until you really sit down and speak with them. So today's guest is Malia Carlos.
Hey.
How you doing, Malia?
I'm doing well.
You well?
Yes, blessed.
Okay, blessed?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I brought Malia on the show, y'all, because Malia has a story, but it is a testimony, and she is a walking testimony. She's going to give you the details, so I won't give that right now, but right, this show today, y'all, I really want you guys to think about certain things that you witnessed growing up, certain things that you was not allowed to speak about. And even when you did speak about, it was like shone down as if people wouldn't believe you, right? And I know a lot of people, women and men, been through certain things that they have yet to even tell anybody, right? But Malia was bold enough to speak up. But even with her speaking up, was still not protected, right? So after speaking with her, I learned a term that I never even knew, right? It's called systematic trauma. And systematic trauma kind of much goes like the generational bloodline, right? It's just repeated over and over and over until somebody break it, right? And so God gave Malia the power to break it. Even though some things transpire in her own personal life, the work that she's putting in, she's definitely have broken the curse off of her life and her kids' life. So without further ado, y'all, I want to title this episode When Protection Fails, right? The person who's supposed to protect you the most and they don't. And like I tell y'all, the unspoken, where the silence is loud, the silence is loud. Adults scream, kids scream, we all scream, right? And we all looking for somebody to come and save us one form, shape, or another, right? And so without further ado, man, I just want Malia to kind of give us a background on how life was when she was conceived and what that looks like in real time moving forward today.
So since the day that I was conceived, it seems like the devil was trying to take me out. Because in my mother's womb, she was having, technical problems. She also I believe she fell on her stomach, and also it was a sense of I fell out the vehicle when I was an infant. And when I was born, my umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck.
Okay.
So when I came out, when my mom, before the doctors even told her that the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck, they told her mom. And her mom couldn't tell her because if she screamed or anything, everything could have went bad.
Oh, wow.
So when she pushed me out, I was purple. So how they cut it, how they got it from around me or whatever the case may be, I don't know those specific details. She didn't go into details with that. But growing up, I had, I would say, not the best childhood.
Okay.
I didn't. As in aspects of us having clothes, shoes, and a roof over our head, yes, we had that.
Okay.
She made sure she provided that. But as far as safety, protection, things in that nature, you know how our parents be like, I don't want you to spend a night at your friend's house because I don't know who's in their house or what's going on in their house, or what if they're married or if they have a boyfriend or whatever the case may be. Your parents try to protect you from your friends' homes, but they never think to, let me protect you from what's in this home when the very issue is inside of your home. It's literally in the next room or in the same room. So growing up, my mom was, married to a child molester and a rapist. And by her being married to a child molester and rapist, that changed my outlook on a lot of things because I witnessed it with my own eyes. It was done to one of my siblings by her ex-husband. And that being said, when everything finally came out, nothing was done. She stayed with him an additional 5 years of my life. And I would say he attempted to do the same thing to me, but that attempt did not succeed because at that point I had been raped when I was a kid, but not by him.
Okay.
It wasn't by a family friend. It wasn't by anybody that none of us knew. When I was raped, my mom put me in a mental institution.
Okay.
And when she put me in a mental institution, they prescribed me about 4 or 5 medications, one of them being Seroquels. And if you're familiar with Seroquels, when you go to sleep, it makes you go to sleep, first of all. It's like a melatonin, but way stronger. But it makes you also not have dreams. So while I was on Seroquels, I would take my regular dosage of 2 Seroquels a night. And then I would be asleep, wake up the next morning. They had also prescribed me a medication for morning time because you have to take a medication to wake up, to get up out of this because it puts you that deep into sleep. So one particular incident was I had took my daily dose for the night. I was asleep. My mom worked an overnight job. He woke me up and he was like, you got to come with me so you can ride with me to go get your mom. So I woke up. I guess he carried me because I don't remember me walking to the truck. I remember like just being in the truck in the back seat. I was laying down. And he came to the back door and he had his hand held out like this. And he had about 5 to 7 pills in his hand. And he was like, your mom said, take these pills. Mind you, these are my Seroquels. I already took 2 for the night. Take these pills or she gonna beat your A. And being on that medication when something traumatic is happening and you're hyperventilating and things is going wrong, your nervous system starts to like pound. So in this instance, I was like exploding. I was crying excessively. I was screaming and hollering. I was like, no, no, no. And I was telling him I don't care about him calling my mom, telling her that I need to take this medication because I already took it.
Right, because at this point, you like, what am I taking?
Exactly. And I was just crying excessively the whole ride to her job. And her job was about maybe 15 to 20 minutes away from the house. And we went all the way to her job. I was still crying. He ran in her job panicking because he knew what he was just trying to do, but couldn't tell her that. So in that instance, he was saying that I went down the street to my friend's house. I was drinking alcohol and my breath smelled like alcohol, but I did not consume any alcohol. So in that instance, I feel like he put some type of drink in my mouth so it could smell like alcohol. So his story can align with what he was actually really trying to do.
So hold on. So let's back up real quick. So your mom's husband that you're speaking on, this is the man that was molesting your sister.
Correct.
Okay. So you feel like that particular night he was trying to drug you to molest you.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm getting it. Okay.
Because when he was molesting and raping my sister, he was slipping stuff in her drinks. So this particular time, I don't know if he had that drug that he was drugging her with or whatever, but undoubtedly he did not because he tried to make me basically overdose on my medication. And in the event that I would overdose, what would he have told? What lie would he have told? Because I didn't have possession of the medication. It was always in my mom's room, wherever they had stored it at. Okay. So I didn't know. They used to just give me the 2 pills and I would take them. So in that case, it always made me wonder about the what if. What if he would have succeeded? What if I would have took these 7 medications? What if I did overdose? And what if I died? What would be the lie he stuck with?
Oh, wow. Because he was definitely a liar, manipulator, and all those things,
yes,
right?
He was.
So I remember in our conversation, you said you witnessed him in act one particular time, right?
Yeah, it was multiple times I witnessed it, but yes.
So seeing that, did you tell your mom or you never tell your mom?
So I never told her straight up.
Okay.
But the thing was, my mom's saying was always, tell someone until they tell someone, until they tell someone, until something is done, until something gets done. That was her saying.
Okay.
And she also told us to come tell her, but the fear and stuff that she put in us, we were scared to come directly to her because we used to get beat for little things.
Okay, so that's why he kept saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to tell your mama.
Exactly.
So telling mama look like, if you say something to mama, she going to beat us. So let me just do what you say. Let me get it back in pocket right now.
Absolutely.
So he used that as a leverage to control you guys.
Correct.
Oh, wow. So not only was he molesting your sister, he was using manipulation to overpower y'all.
Correct.
Right. And so to tell somebody till they get somewhere, right? Do you feel like that was a cover up for her not want to accept what might be what's going on, or she absolutely knew nothing about it?
At the time, she used to tell us that things had, I would say, before things started transpiring, and then during things transpiring, she always told us that was her saying. So I think at that time she did not know.
Okay.
But at the moment that I did tell someone, because I did tell my siblings that did not know what was going on. I did tell them. And you know how teenage boys are, they playing on a game. I walk in on them and I'm like, hey, y'all, I just seen such and such on top of our sister. And he was doing this to her. I explained everything. And I said, y'all heard me? They was playing on a game. I remember it. I got a videography memory.
Okay.
And they were playing on a game in the living room of my grandfather's house. And I said, y'all heard me? Because we were living with my grandfather at first. They said yes. And then they kind of like brushed me off, I felt like. So when that took place, I never gave up. And I never thought that my brothers did not hear me because they confirmed that they heard me. So, okay, we on the same page.
So why did you ever think like, so why nobody didn't stop to come and protect her?
At the time that I came in there and told them, it was already over with. He had already did what he did and he went wherever he was going.
Okay. And your sister
but I had
unconscious?
Yes, my sister was literally unconscious. I pushed my sister really hard. I was hitting her on her arm and I was pushing her. And she was like, what? Like, you know, dazed, like what? I was like, he was just on top of you, touching you. Like, and I was like panicking because I was scared that he was about to come back in the room. So I was trying to hurry up and tell it quick. But then by then she laid back down, fell right back to sleep.
Oh, wow. So when did you realize this was not normal?
When I was like, I would say about 9 or 10 years old. Because at this time, I was only 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
So at this time, you know, I'm not fully knowing what's going on, but I know for a fact it's not right because I don't see my brothers doing this.
Yeah.
I don't see my brothers doing this to my sister. I don't see them doing it to me. So I'm at this 8, 5 or 6, 7 years old, I'm knowing that this not right, but I'm not knowing all the way because I'm still a child trying to process all of this.
Right.
So by the age of 10, okay, this is not right.
Okay.
My mom started explaining, if somebody touch you, you come tell me. If somebody touch you here, you come tell me.
Okay.
But we were so frightened and scared of her. Mind you, we were getting beat. With extension cords, she would hit us until we bled. She would literally, all the screaming and hollering for nothing. She would scream and holler at us. She would beat us. It was just like, we was dealing with abuse and manipulation. One parent is abusive. The other parent is manipulating. He's a child molester. He's a rapist. He's doing all of these things. And it's like for a child, it's traumatic. This is trauma now. This is what we live in. This is all I know.
Right.
I never been to a friend's house because mind you, she ain't allowed it.
Right.
We would go outside and play with friends, but you better not go inside nobody else's house. That was the words. You better not go inside nobody else's house.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just processing this. I'm sorry. Yeah. This how it was on the phone when we was on the phone, right?
Right.
Okay. So so you finally told your mom, right?
So in the year of 2010, my uncle, which is my mom's brother, was getting married. He got married. We went to the wedding. We went to the reception, had a ball. I'm talking about, I'm a kid. I had a ball like it was my wedding. And that night, all my cousins and aunts from Dallas, Texas came to our house in Spring, Texas, where we were living at. And in my room. We were in my room. It was all the girls. It was all the cousins. The aunts and the adults were downstairs. You know, they having their adult time. The children don't, at the time, it was leave the room when adults is talking and when adult things are going on.
Kids don't do that no more. Right.
Right. So, it was a thing I remember because I'm the one that made it up. And I felt like as a kid, it was meant for me to get this off of my chest.
Okay.
And I remember my specific cousin, I remember her, she literally, we still talk to this day. She is the one that went down and her and her mom had a signal. Like they signaled each other off when something is not right or when something is wrong and when they need to get up out of there. So before all of that happened, we were in my room and we were having a secret night. So tell a secret that you never told anybody, that nobody knows.
Okay.
My secret was that my mom's husband had been touching my sister and other women, other young ladies. They were young adults because they were in high school.
Okay.
And when I told them what happened, I told them every detail, everything that was happening. My cousins literally got up. It was like they knew protocol. They got up, walked out the room, went downstairs, signaled their moms. One cousin signaled her mom. They left. Then my aunt called the other cousins' moms, my other aunts, and was like, "Hey, Malia just told such and such this. Y'all need to come on, get your kids, and get up out of there." Not knowing that night he tried to touch one of my cousins in the garage.
Oh, wow.
And the police gave him a citation for that. Because when all of this went down, about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, the police were all at our house. We had about maybe 4 or 5 police officers at our house.
So with this happening and your mom hearing the officer saying, like, you've been accused of trying to touch a girl. Even during that, your mom still was just like...
She was sitting in a chair, in a lawn chair in her front yard. And I remember her telling me that she had like a out-of-body experience. She said she was like in the sky and she seen everything that was going on in the house and she seen everything that was going on outside the house. And she said that my sister was talking to the police officers, but I was wondering why the police officers never came and talked to me. I understood that I was a minor, but my mom, before the police got there, ran upstairs and she was crying. And she was like, "Is it true?" She woke me up out my sleep. And I was like, "What?" And I was in my brother's room sleep because they had 2 beds in their rooms. And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Did such and such touch your sister?" And my words, because I felt relieved. I was like, "Yes, yes." I felt relief. Like I was basically like screamed at her like, "Yes." Like shaking my head, "Yes." I laid back down. And something wouldn't let me lay back down. So I jumped up, put on some clothes. I ran downstairs and his mother was there. Mind you, everybody is at my house. His mother was there and was like, "Tell me what's going on. You know what's going on and you alive. You tell me that you don't know what's going on." I walked past her in silence because it's not my place to tell you what's going on. And so I felt like the officer should have called me out to.
So the officer was questioning your sister, but
Yes.
not one time did she go ahead and say, "This man been touching me"?
Yes, she absolutely did. And I have the police report.
Oh, she
and
did
she
tell.
absolutely did say that he was touching her. And at the time, she was a minor. And to my knowledge and law, in the state of Texas, there's no what do you call it? There's no limit on how many years it can be down the line when a victim come up for you to be charged.
Okay. But he was never charged.
He was never charged, but it's still an open case in Harris County.
So your mom still stayed with him how many years after that?
For 5 additional years.
So
she finally left him when I was in 10th grade.
So how does a kid process the level of betrayal? Because it's like, "Mama, we done told you this man did this to my sister, or the man did this to me, and you still stay." So that's a level of betrayal. Like, so you're just gonna dismiss what's going on to stay. So how do a kid process that?
I would say I never processed it. I would say I lived in fear. As a kid, and I seen that you staying with him, me wondering why are you staying with him, but me as a kid, we better not go ask her why you staying with him because we're going to get slapped in the mouth.
Okay.
So I used to take precautions like locking my door, even though I knew he could take a penny or his fingernail and unlock my door. At the time, I still was scared. I lived in fear all the way up until she finally left.
Okay. And so when let's go back a little bit. So was she still with it? Okay, because you let the audience know that you was raped at 13.
Mm-hmm.
So was this the husband she was with, or she was with the new husband?
She was still with that same
she was
husband.
with that same husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he wasn't living in a home at the time.
Okay.
He worked on the road. He worked in the oil field. And when I was raped, he was not at the house. He was not around. I thought that they were separated. They was gone for good.
Okay.
I'm thinking like, okay, this man is gone for good. I feel safe now in my home. So one of my uncles went and told him, because they are not knowing what happened.
Okay.
They told him that I was raped. He came knocking on the story. I was in a mental institution, so I didn't know. He came knocking on the door. This is the story that I was told. He came knocking on the door late night and saying, hey, what happened to my baby? Like calling me his baby, like his daughter.
Right.
Now he's acting concerned.
Right.
This is his lead way to get in the home. Because now in a rapist manipulator mind, they're thinking, oh, this my entryway. She don't have her virginity no more. She's raped. In my head, this is how I'm thinking. I'm thinking how a rapist would think. Because this is literally how they think on a daily. Okay, this is my leeway to get back in the home. Her mom is hurting. She's been raped. So yeah, I'm getting back in. I'm in. I'm about to do more damage because this is what the devil come to do: steal, kill, and destroy. And that's exactly what he was doing.
Right.
He was the devil in the home. So literally, he came in and he stayed. I get out the hospital. I'm extra scared. I'm on all of these medications. And one particular medication that I also wanted to talk about that they had put me on, that the hospital had me on, the medication by itself cost at least $20,000. And the insurance covered half. But my dad, I remember he traveled away from Silsbee, Texas to come to Spring, Texas to go to Walgreens pharmacy and paid over $1,000 out of pocket cash money to pay for the remaining balance, the copay. And this medication was to prevent AIDS. HIV from forming in the body. So this is when I knew
for being a rape victim.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is when I knew that they had a cure for this. And I was just at awe as a kid, because all my life I'm hearing they don't have a cure for this. You have family members that have this and this and that. They don't have a cure. This medication, which I still have the bottle to this day, is sitting in my home in Silsbee, Texas, in a Batman backpack.
Okay.
And I still have those bottles. And it still has the names and everything on there.
So you got raped, but you ended up in a mental hospital because you was raped, right?
Right.
So your parent had to put you in there.
Right.
So was your mom just dismissive or minimize what really happened to you? Like, what would make her send you there after you told her this?
I had got out the hospital. I was fresh out the hospital. I had took my medications that the hospital gave me. I believe I had to take it for like a month or so.
Why did they put you on medication? Or you was already on
They put me on the medication to prevent, since I was a young rape victim.
Okay.
I was a teenager, to prevent any STDs, AIDS, HIV, any STIs and STDs or anything from forming in the body.
You know, I understand that part. I'm talking about when you went to the mental hospital. You're not your mom, so you don't know. So what psychological instinct was going through her mind to place you there when you already done had like a traumatic experience that occurred? Like, have you ever asked her that?
I never asked her. And then also I was having suicidal thoughts too.
Oh, okay.
I did have that.
Okay.
But at the time, it was self-harm. Like it was just me trying to harm myself. Like I would cut myself, anything to feel some type of pain, to make it feel like the pain is going away. Because I felt like I wasn't worth anything. Because all my life I'm hearing you have to save your virginity until marriage.
Right.
You have to wait until marriage. And I absolutely lived by that. And I'm hearing this in the church. I'm hearing this at home. I'm hearing this is what you have to do.
Right.
And so us growing up hearing that, I thought like my purity is gone.
Yeah.
I have no self-worth. I'm not worth anything. No man is going to want me because I'm not a virgin.
Oh.
You know, because I'm a kid. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking everybody is living pure because this is what I'm taught. So I'm only knowing what I'm taught.
Right.
So I'm thinking everybody's living purely.
So you just taught religion and not relationship with God, right? because the religion is gonna always say no, 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 which it is a no, right? But at the same time, at the same token, it's like no one was there to fully cover you, right?
Mhm.
And that's why I'll say when protection fails, right? And even in that, I'm not a mother, right? But I can just only imagine, like, if my child, if something like this happened to my child, like, what would I be trying to do to nurture that womb, right?
Right. And
And,
then
and for someone not to nurture that womb, I can understand how you ended up doing self-harm to yourself that landed you in the mental hospital, right? But the thing was, you was never mental.
exactly.
You was just screaming,
right.
right? And that's why I tell people where the silence is loud. That's a loud silence. Like, this is loud silence, right?
And then they were at the church, my mom and pastor at the time was praying over me. I no longer had the marks. The marks disappeared.
Okay.
The marks were there for a long time, and then they disappeared.
Okay.
And then my brother actually walked in on me doing it to myself. And in that instance, I still didn't process where I was going. She didn't tell me where I was going. She just drove us up there. It was just me and her. Drove me up there. It was hours long. We had an hour's wait. Like, we were up there for like 5 hours waiting. She was processing paperwork. All I remember was her filling out a lot of paperwork, giving it back. We were just waiting there for hours. But I did not know where I was. I did not know what she was doing. I didn't know anything. I was blind to it. But then when they got up and it was like, okay, we're ready. She was like, okay, Malia, all right, I'll see you, later or another day. And I'm looking and I'm like, what?
Like where you didn't even know where you was at.
I didn't. And I was like, wait, what? And all I remember was them buzzing me in a door, and I'm walking through like a little garden. It was really nice. It was really nice garden into another building. And I was like, my mom not coming? Like, what am I doing here? They put me in a room, and I had a roommate in there. They had a shower and a toilet in there and everything. And I remember me getting in the bed because it was bedtime. Me getting in the bed, and I cried the whole night because I didn't know
where you was at.
I didn't know what was just happening to me. You left me, and this had just happened to me. So, like, what are you? What's really going on? Explain to me.
When you realized you was there, you didn't know where you was at, and you was like, "What did you just tell me? How did you feel?" My mom did what?
She just left me and was like, "I'll just see you later," And the next morning, they wake you up about 5 o'clock for breakfast. It was like, I felt like I was in a jail institution, like in a prison system or something. You have to walk in a straight line. You got somebody that leads you to the breakfast and lunch area. And they give you breakfast. You have choices that you could pick out of. And I believe there's only 2 choices. So if you didn't eat it or you didn't like what they had, you would just, be hungry.
So how long was you in the institution?
I think I was in there about 30 to 60 days.
Oh, so that mean you was missing school?
Right, I was missing school. The school I was still enrolled,
okay,
but she had to present them all paperwork and stuff, and I wasn't doing any classwork or anything.
So once you was released and you went back into the house, do you remember the emotion that you had that day when you returned home?
Yeah, so I seen him there. That sat in my heart because I was like, oh my God, what if this happened to me again? What if he do this to me? That was my first thought. I ran straight upstairs to my room. I remember my dog being happy to see me because I had a little chihuahua named Angel. She was deaf. And she made me happy. That was my girl. Like, I would bathe her. Like, literally as a kid, you're not supposed to bathe with a dog or anything. I was bathing with my dog. Yeah. Like, we was in the tub.
But that was probably security for you, right? Right.
And I was just back in my room. It was good to take a fresh shower at home. It felt comfortable. I was more comfortable taking a shower at home. I felt clean. I felt like I got all the dirt off of me because it was literally like a jail cell. Like, you go in your room and you take your shower, you brush your teeth and everything. Your mom has to bring you clothes from home. In any event that she does not bring you clothes from home, you're going to be in a hospital gown. So my first night there, I took my shower and I was in a hospital gown. And then they had to bring clothes back up there to me. I I would only get one phone call a day. Visitation was only certain days, in certain hours. And then you would go in to see a doctor. You had group was you and a lot of other people that's in there, and basically it's group therapy. They talk to you about stuff, and you have an assignment that you have to do.
So you had to keep reliving the trauma? Was it something like that?
Because I felt like I was in trouble because of what just happened to me.
Right.
I feel
and
like
you was the victim, right? That's crazy how the system is set up to make you keep reliving something as if you've done something wrong. That's crazy. So you get back at home, you back in the groove of things and stuff like that. So you say your mama stayed with him a little bit longer. So when she left him, what did it look like after she left the first husband? Like for y'all, y'all felt like what?
I felt like a relief.
Okay.
But then also we lost everything. She said she no longer wanted the house because she was like the demons that's in it. She was like, I don't want anything that had his name attached to it. Okay. Both of their names was on the house. She gave the house up. We got a letter in the mail from the bank saying that I guess we had one day to get out. Because I remember coming home from school, and that day, I guess she checked the mail late that day, and she was like, hey, y'all got to start packing everything up.
Okay.
So everything was being packed up. We didn't know where we were going to go. We didn't know nothing.
And a lot of times women stay with the abuser because of the financial situation.
And that's what I believe.
Right. And it's like, if I don't have him, me and my kids got to go to the ghetto, and me and my kids going to be without, and different things like that. So when your mama left him, what did life look like? Because you say y'all lost everything. So where did y'all go to next?
So we had a hotel for a little while.
Okay.
And I had to switch schools. And in the event while we were in this hotel and we switched schools and everything, I was a little embarrassed. Even though I didn't know nobody at this new school or anything. Just people seeing you walk from a hotel, because it was walking distance. It was like right down the road. Walk from a hotel to the high school, because I was in high school. And then get out of school, walk back to this hotel. And you live in there for about 30 days. Or 30 to 45 days. Then we moved into a townhouse, and then we were all back together. Me, the brothers, everybody, my sister. We all lived back together in the townhouse.
So while y'all was in a hotel, it was just you and who?
It was just me, my sister, and my mom.
So who took your brothers?
My brothers were grown.
Oh, they were grown. Okay.
Yes, they were grown men. Okay. So, they found jobs and stuff, was working, living wherever they were living at the time. I didn't know where they were living at. I don't remember.
Okay. So when did your mom get with her second husband?
She got with this man about 2017. So after I graduated, she got with him.
Okay, so he didn't have a chance to do anything to you because you was already grown.
At all. I was already grown and out of the house.
Okay.
And I was living in Katy with my aunt at the time. And then once I graduated, I moved out. And I started living with my son's father, because I had my first child at the age of 17. Okay. I got pregnant at 16.
Okay.
And then that's when I started preparing myself, getting myself together, getting a job, getting a car, getting my very first apartment and everything. So when I got my first apartment, I felt secure. I was just like, I did it on my own.
Yeah.
I used my own check stubs.
Yeah.
I didn't have to depend on nobody.
How did you end up at your mom's house?
So I'm living there. It was times where I moved out, where I got a hotel room. I stayed there for a while and then moved back in with my mom.
So let's stop right here, right? So you said it was times where you would get hotel rooms and then move back. So cycles, right?
Right.
Because that's the same thing happened to you when you was a kid, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to move forward with the story. So what we're about to discuss, y'all, if it causes any type of emotional breakdown, memory, things like that, I want to apologize right now, right? But this why I wanted to talk about systematic trauma, right? So molestation occurred with her sister, but now this is where we're going to really talk about what happened and how God allowed you to be able to see it and deal with it, but also cover your baby, right? So Malia mom, second husband, who was, I'm pretty sure, was nice to you, right? Nice to your kids.
Right.
What happened the day you discovered that this was not a nice man?
So July, it was the last week of July of 2025. So this is very recent, very, very, very recent. July of 2025, at the end of the month, I was working. I had a better job. I was doing well for myself. But I had not moved out of my mom's house. I'm still working on it. You know, I'm saving up. I got money saved, but I'm trying to find where I could get approved at. Because at the time, my background, not my criminal history, but my rental history was not all great.
Okay.
So I asked my mom, I texted her and called her. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to stay at work until about 7 something. I'm going to get off at 7. Can you just go get the kids from daycare? So she picked up the kids. The kids is at her house. I make it to her house about 7:15, 7:30, 7:45. Latest is 7:30. No, I'm just giving you like a roundabout about the time. So I get there. My mom is sitting in the garage when I pull up. I walk in. I'm, hey, you know, speaking and everything. I walk in the house. Winston was in his room playing with his toys. I go in there. I say, hey, Win, where's your sister? He was like, she's somewhere in there. Hold on, let me go get her. My mom had done shot by me and was like, I'm finna go get her. I ain't see her nowhere. I went in the living room. I didn't see her in the living room. I didn't see her nowhere. So my mom went and got her. I guess she was in the kitchen. So when parents came to me, I give her a hug. I scoot down to her level. She itty bitty. I give her a hug and I was like, why are you wet? And she was like, I was like, did you potty on yourself? She was like, yes. I said, but why did you potty on yourself? Why didn't you go to the restroom? She didn't say nothing. She just shrugged her shoulders. So I'm like, okay, come on, Paris. I got to change you because we got to go. I changed her clothes. I put them in her dirty clothes hamper, but it was hidden in the closet. So where like couldn't nobody mess with them clothes. In my head as a mother, my heart was beating fast already. I'm like, why is she wet? We just got over this. You know, so I'm like, okay, put on some fresh clothes. We get in the car. I tell my mom, bye. All right. We driving off. We 7 minutes down the road. We on Barker Cypress and Clay Road. I'm driving up by the Walgreens. Parents say, mommy, and we use a code word called pinky for the vagina, for the privacy parts. It's burning. It's hurting. I got pepper on there. I asked her why. She was like, because I got black pepper on there. I said, black pepper, girl, stop playing. I said, you ain't getting no black pepper right there. She was like, Pawpaw touched my pinky, but she said his name. We're not going to disclose any names.
Right.
And I was like, what? And I almost wrecked my car. Mind you, I just got my car back because I did get into a car accident. And I was about to get into another car accident. I almost smacked into a car. So I swerved over one lane to get into the Walgreens parking lot. I said, now what? My son is in the car, so he's hearing all of this. And I was like, Winston, you didn't see nothing? You didn't hear nothing? She didn't come tell you nothing? He was like, no, ma'am. I was like, Paris, so when did this happen? Why did it, like, what's going on? She was like, he touched my pinky and it's burning. I said, okay, Paris, I got to bring you to the emergency room. So what do you want me to do? She was like, call the police and tell them they need to go arrest him. Now, this is a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I was going to tell them, this is a 3-year-old.
This is a 3-year-old. I said, okay, I'll call the police, but explain to me what you're going to tell the police before I call them, because I don't want to call them out and you don't tell them anything. She says, I'm going to tell the police that Pawpaw touched my pinky and they need to go over there and arrest him right now. And I was like, okay. And mind you, I got all of this on video because something in me, I'm not going to even say something. It was my discernment that told me start recording immediately so nobody would say that this is staged or coached, because you can't coach a 3-year-old anyways. Right. They won't remember anything that you tell them.
Let me ask you this, Malia. So when your daughter spoke on this, what did that do to you internally? Like,
it was like a raging flame inside of me, because now I'm pissed. Now I'm mad. I'm upset. I failed. But it made me angry. So I called the police. I stepped out the car. I'm about to tell you what I did. I stepped out the car. My kids don't need to see me this way. I stepped out the car. I screamed really, really loud. It got people that's parked all next to my car that's looking at me like, this girl is a maniac. This woman is a maniac. But they don't know what I'm going through. Mm-hmm. So I expect them to see me as just that. So I called the police. I'm telling the dispatcher this. I'm pissed off. I'm basically venting to the dispatcher. I'm telling her my location, and I done told her all the details, but I'm venting to this dispatcher. I'm like, I'm pissed off. This happened when I was a kid. It happened to my sister. She keep marrying these lame men, like these horrible men, but I'm cursing. Right. I'm saying cuss words at this point. Every bit of religion that I had in me has been released and left. So now I feel like the devil is nothing but the devil that came over me. I'm pissed off. I'm mad. I'm sending my mama these long text messages. I sent her the videos of me recording what my baby had just said. I text her just like this because now I'm treating you like a woman on the streets. Now I don't even know you. I text her and I said, check your messenger, boo. I said it just like that because I sent her the messages on Messenger because she has an Android and I have an iPhone. The video is entirely too long. So I sent her all 3 messages. It sounded like you coached your baby.
Oh, I was going to say, what was her response?
It sounded like I coached my baby, and guess what? The discerning spirit was already on me and said, before I raged out and said all of these mean and evil things, my discerning spirit said, record this because somebody is going to think, it just said somebody. It didn't specify her, but it said somebody is going to think that you staged and coached your baby. And that's also why I also have a witness. My son at the time was 8 years old. He's now 9. And my daughter was 3. She's now 4. He's a witness to this. So with all of this being said, the police came and met me at the Walgreens. They didn't want to talk to my child, but my child wanted to talk to them and said, I'm ready to talk to the police, Mom. Is they ready? The police officers told me no because I was saying, you don't have to ask her a question. She wants to vent to you. You don't have to ask her anything. The police officer said it could affect the case. It could basically potentially get thrown out in court because the police officers are not therapists or anything. They could not question a child. But I told them, y'all don't have to question her. Long as your body cameras is on, this baby is willing to vent to you. She wants to tell you something, and this is what she wants to tell you out of her own mouth.
Did this remind you from when you was a kid and when the police came to question your sister?
Same police department, Harris County. Harris County. Same. And it just all replayed. Everything started hitting me. Like I told you, I have a videography memory. Everything is like a movie in my head. So it's like us watching a TV. All of this is playing verbatim in my head in color. Not in black and white, but in color.
So with your daughter telling the police officers and different things like that, at this point, the same thing what happened to your sister, nothing is done about it.
Nothing is done about it.
So it's still just an open case.
The case is open. No detective is assigned to the case.
So that's what I was saying in the beginning, y'all, like systematic trauma, right? And then when I was talking to Malia, I told her, because even for her mom to text back and say, this sound like this was coached or rehearsed, right? I told her, I said, your mom probably never spoke about nothing like this, but it sounds like something happened to your mom and someone told her to be quiet, don't say nothing, I'll kill you, I'll kill your mom. I'm speculating, but on average, it's pretty much how stuff like this happen. For this to have happened to your daughter, now your granddaughter, and then at the hands of men that you were married to, under covenant with, you know, that did this to your kind, right? Because she could carry child and you carried your baby. So this is her bloodline.
Right.
So this is a bloodline thing, right? And even when I started the show, I talked about bloodline because it was certain bloodlines running through my family real deep, you know? Infidelity, homosexuality, and different things like that. Not molestation and abuse and stuff like that. We don't come from that background. But at the end of the day, it's always still some type of systematic trauma that goes with you, right? So I'm going to go back. So the police at this point does nothing about it.
Correct. So we just went back they followed me to the home to gather those clothes. They were wet. And they took them in for DNA analysis. I've never got those DNA results back. It's just it's still an open case. It's just pending, waiting on a detective to get on the case to investigate.
So as a mother, what did you have to do to help your daughter navigate through this process of trauma? Because she's a baby, she don't know, but she know enough to know I was touched right here,
Mhm.
and now it hurts me. So what does that look like in real time? Because it's only a year ago.
Right.
What does that look like in real time today?
So she's in trauma therapy.
Okay. Explain to the people what is trauma therapy, because I never even heard of it
Right.
before.
So trauma therapy is where, with dealing with children, it also has trauma therapy for adults. But for children, it's like play therapy. So they're in a room with toys, and the therapist let them start off playing, and then she goes in with questions, raw, uncut questions.
Okay.
Like, okay, how was your day? How's school been? So Paris, tell me a little about, what happened to you. Did anybody touch you inappropriately? They asked about the body parts. They show her a graph with the body parts and everything. And Paris flat out told her therapist exactly what happened and who did it, with a demonstration behind it.
Okay.
Okay, so once she demonstrated this to her trauma therapist, of course, had to put in a report to CPS to let them know, even though a CPS case was already open.
Right.
Let them know this baby did confess and tell me this. So it's been reported by the CPS caseworker. It's been reported by the trauma therapist. She still goes to trauma therapy weekly. So this is a weekly occurrence. And the trauma therapist asked her, how did it make her feel? And she told the trauma therapist, angry.
So she know how to process her emotions already at 3 years old. Wow.
And she was playing with the toys, and it got kind of aggressive with playing with the toys. And Paris is a Play-Doh girl. At this point, she was playing with the Legos. She was being very aggressive with the Legos. So she was expressing how she felt on the toys. And also saying it, verbally, like, it made me angry. And then she went to the Play-Doh, and she was, squeezing the Play-Doh, making things like pizza and stuff. And she was like, here, I made a pizza. Like, they go off track. When a kid is traumatized, they kind of tend to go off track also to cover up what has happened to them.
What does it look like at home?
So at home, she was doing a few things that showed me like, oh, I have been touched. So it confirmed. It had confirmation behind it. But what I had to do was get back into my spirituality and pray over my child. Because if nobody wants to pray for your child, you have to be that backbone. You have to be your child's covenant. You have to be your child's spirituality. You have to literally focus on your child and get deliverance for them, whether it's deliverance in the home, because deliverance can happen in your home.
Right.
It doesn't have to happen in front of a church. It don't have to happen with anybody else. As long as you a firm believer and you have it in you that, hey, I'm going to deliver my child today on this day. And I started praying over my child. And then when I would go to church on Sundays, my child would come into the congregation with me and not go to, the children's church. She would come in the congregation with me. And when it's praise and worship time, I got my hand on my child's forehead and I got my other hand just going up and down her, praying out loud. I'm praying loudly. I'm making sure that any demonic force that is attacking my child or that could have potentially got into my child gets up out of her.
Right.
And also, when you're being raped or molested, it's about 70 to 77 demons come enter into your body. So you have to make sure, in fact, that you pray these things up off of your children, even out of your home. Even though you don't think that it's in your home, if it happens to someone in your home, you have to pray over your home. Your home is basically your safe place, your sanctuary. And in my home is where I prayed over my children. I have multiple different prayer books and Bibles and everything. And when I say it became peaceful, it became peaceful. My daughter is not a disrespectful baby. She has very great manners. She's very respectful. She'll explain to you how she feels. Like she told me she was disappointed. She's able to explain these things to me. And I am very grateful for that, because praying over your child and teaching them.
So do you feel like your daughter being able to verbalize exactly what transpired with her? I know it was something like burning it off in the vagina area, but just for her to verbalize what had transpired, like being a mother, do you feel like that helped the situation? Like, because like prior you witnessed people emotions being suppressed and they wouldn't say nothing.
Right.
So now God allowed it to where this is going to be told. But do you feel like with her knowing what to say, what the Holy Spirit is living in a 3-year-old, basically, that's what transpired. for her to know what to say. And then do you feel like the system failed you though? For us, like protecting your baby, like the law enforcement, the CPS, like, do you feel like the investigation was not fully done correctly to where this man is still walking free and can potentially go molest another kid or rape or whoever?
Absolutely. And that's because, so when CPS originally opened this case, my daughter was in the hospital. She had tested positive for an STD. This is how all of this came about.
Right.
And literally when that happened, I was just at awe. Like, I was like, whoa, what? She what? I wasn't aware of anything going on. She didn't show me any signs. She didn't tell me it was hurting or anything at the time. Up until one morning, she told me, rushed her to the hospital. They gave her medication for a UTI. They told me she had a urinary tract infection. And I was like, okay, maybe she's drinking too much soda. Because you get that from drinking a lot of juice, soda, things in that nature. That's the easiest way to get a UTI. And I know by experience because I was drinking a lot of soda as a kid before too. So I was like, okay, they gave me 7 days worth of medication. Gave her that. Went back to the hospital because she complained about it hurting again. They gave me some Bactrasin, which is a cream for a rash or whatever. By the 5 o'clock that evening, she complained again. I rushed her back to the hospital, and this time I was very adamant, and I was on top of it. I said, I'm not leaving until you guys tell me what's wrong with my child because she's complaining about her privacy area. Within, I could say 3 minutes, my life had changed drastically. They put us in a room. Doctor and 2 patient advocates came in and said, your daughter tested positive for gonorrhea.
In that moment, because we went back on the story, so by the time this occurred again, the abuser had probably touched your daughter more than one time at this point then, right?
Correct. So I would say that this is the second time because she was never around him. So my kids were removed from me by CPS in the hospital. So after all of this came out and they said she tested positive for this or whatever, CPS came in. They were in the hospital from February 28th to March 3rd or 4th. They came in on that 3rd or 4th and my aunt was there. They played it off like they needed a meeting with us. So first they said that they were going to place my kids with my grandmother or with my sister or, and they were basically playing a game with us. Then at 3 o'clock in the morning on March 4th, they were like, we need to have a meeting. Come with us. We went into a meeting room. She basically slowed the conversation down. It was like, basically, we're taking your kids. So when you go back in there, you can give your kids a hug and get your stuff and you have to leave right now. You cannot stay. I went back in there, kissed my kids, gave them a hug, gathered all my belongings. It had 3 Texas Children Hospital security guards in Harris County Police Department there, waiting outside the door to make sure that I leave. So I left. I didn't put up a fight with them or whatever, but when I got around the corner, I was so angry. My anger showed. I screamed down the hallway. At this point, I don't care about these other patients on this hallway. I don't care about them healing at this point because now my kids have been taken from me. We're separated. We literally live together every single day. Like, these are my best friends. Like, these are my little broke best friends. Like, literally. So I'm like, what am I going to do from this day forward without my kids? I'm used to waking up, getting them dressed for school, sending them off, getting them off the bus, getting them from school and going to work. Now this daily routine is changing drastically. So they removed them. I left. I screamed all the way down the hallway. I punched the wall. They made sure that I got out the hospital. I left. I started walking down I-10. I was so angry. I didn't even want to ride home. My aunt came out the hospital looking for me, her and my little cousin. So they came and picked me up. They drove me to my mom's house. I went in my mom's house because at this point, we don't have a suspect. We didn't know who the suspect was at this point because this is February of 2025. And we didn't know. So I go in my room. I scream and holler to the top of my lungs. And my mom trying to give me a hug and trying to pray and everything. I'm like, I don't want them prayers. I don't want no hug. I don't want none of that. Save all that. I'm pissed. I'm mad. I'm livid. I don't really know what's going on. I really ain't processed all this. So at the time, I called my husband while I'm walking down I-10 because we backtracking again. I walk down I-10. I'm calling my husband. He answered the phone because he knows something wrong. I don't call him at this time. And we not even together. We separated. We've been separated for 2 years at this point. And I'm like, they lied to me. They lied. They played with me. They said that they was going to put the kids with my They lied. I don't care no more. I'm tired. I'm crying. And he was like, what? What's going on? He trying to understand, but he ain't understanding. And I'm like, if you listen, you will hear me. And I just hung up. I didn't want to talk. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm walking down the highway. My auntie found me. I'm at my mom's house. I screamed. I said all of that. So now at this point, it's the next morning. I wake up, my mom and everybody, they going to work like a regular day.
So you got to sit in this.
I'm not going to work.
I'm saying you have to sit in this by yourself,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to work. I'm basically giving up a little bit, but I know I still got to keep my faith. But I gave up in that instant moment. I'm like, I don't want to go to work. I ain't been to work in like a week at this point. My office manager at the time was like, Malia, don't worry about this. Your job is secured here. Worry about your babies. So I'm like...
So how long did it take for you to get your babies back?
6 months.
6 months.
So my kids were gone from me for 6 months. My kids were placed with my husband's aunt at the time. After 30 days, she called them and said she no longer wanted to care for my kids. My aunt stepped in immediately, took over my kids and kept them.
So when you finally got them back in your position, right? What did life look like for y'all after that?
It was like happiness. It was like we were back together as happy. I had so much ready for them because during the time that they were removed from me, I had big plans. I had trips booked for them and everything. I had to cancel that, no money back, no nothing. So I canceled all of that and I basically had to make up for missed time. I felt like I missed out on a lot. Within 6 months, believe it or not, kids grow fast.
Right. So when you got your kids back and you was able to have them back in your protection, right? Was it a moment when you sat down and just thought about, was it a moment where you felt like you failed her or no?
Not really, because I didn't know who the potential suspect could have been. But the whole time I kept hearing CPS and the police saying, it's always somebody in the home.
Yeah.
But me not thinking, I'm like, my kids are not around him like that. My kids are never around him like that. I don't leave them alone. But I keep forgetting when you're at work and they come home from the school bus and you go get them and stuff, you potentially it could have happened then. Because my mom, she's always in her room, in her own world and studying on her phone all the time.
So what does the relationship look like with you and your mom right now? Because at this point, she felt her daughter, she felt your daughter. So what does that look like for y'all right now?
We're no contact.
No contact.
So since July, I have not spoken to her. I forgive her from a distance, but I would never allow that presence to be back around me and my children. And that's based off of our peace. We're protecting our peace and we're protecting our spiritual covenant because it's something somewhere that she either hasn't forgiven herself and it's demonic forces that's in her that keeps allowing her to marry these types of men,
right?
And it's like, I won't allow that anymore. And I'm protecting my children. Like my sister, she's no contact with her going on 3 years. Well, it's been 3 years, probably finna go on 4. My youngest brother don't talk to her. Only my oldest brother talks to her.
Why do you feel like family covers stuff like this up?
To protect the image of someone else. And I feel like that needs to be stopped. It has to come to a stop. We should protect predators because if they'll touch a child, they can potentially do it to a disabled adult. Right. They can do it to really anybody. And it's not okay. And spirits travel through animals, through humans and everything. And if you have animals within your home, you're wondering why your animal doing this and that too also. And like I said, spirits travel. And people don't believe that.
They do.
People don't believe possession.
They do, and they jump. That's why I don't let folks touch on me like that.
Exactly.
When I'm in church now, you ain't praying on me. Mm-mm.
Right, because you don't know what's going on in a home or in them. You don't know.
So, what does breaking the generational curse of molestation and rape looks like for you in real time?
So breaking those curses, so like I said, I had to deliver my child on my own.
Okay.
I had to get that up out of her.
Okay.
But also breaking it is not allowing everybody in your safe space, not just fully trusting someone based off of, oh, we just met and I fully trust this person because they speak like this or they said this and they said that. No.
Okay.
No, stop that. You got to go into your prayer closet or wherever you decide to lay down and pray at. And you have to, pray for that discernment. And you also have to pray to hear God's voice on guiding you through these type of situations. But right now, for me, I'm mostly praying, forgiving, and learning from it, learning how to move forward to where it won't happen for my children's children. And in the event that it does, I'm able to teach my children and help them in their children, my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren.
Well, I pray that it stops now,
yes,
right?
Yes, it will.
Because that's what, 2 generations?
Yep.
Yeah. Possibly 3, which your mom probably not fully telling the truth, right? So I pray that with the work that you're doing, the deliverance that you're doing over your own daughter, over your own family, that it stops now, right?
Right.
So I would like for you to look in the camera because I can't speak from that place. I don't know that place.
Right.
But I would like for you to look in the camera and tell a victim, whatever that, I don't know, what you could tell them, or if they feel like they suspect something like this could be happening in their own home, what to do, how to get past it, how to get your kids comfortable enough to even talk to you about it. So,
what I would say is, first I'm gonna answer the last question. To get your kids comfortable to talk to you, you have to build their relationship with them. You can't disregard. I noticed a lot of parents disregard what their children saying. No matter, this is also how I learned. When your children is playing with toys and how do you say it? Not intimidating, but reacting how someone would act or what they would do with someone else or whatever. When your kids are playing with toys, listen to them. And also talk to your children and let them know that it's always safe to come to me because I'm not going to harm you. I'm going to fix the situation. And I've always told my children that. I've always let them know you can always come to mom and tell mom everything, no matter what. This is a safe space. I'm not going to go and tell the world. We're going to go get the proper help and we're going to talk to the proper authorities to help you out with this situation. And then for the victims, I would say, if you're scared to say something, don't be scared to say anything. Go seek therapy. Don't let nobody say, oh, therapy is not going to work. You need God. Yes, you also need God, but seek therapy. God put therapists on this earth for a reason. So seek therapy, get the help. Don't let nobody say, because I know back in the day, they used to say, oh, we don't believe in medication. We don't believe in therapy. We don't believe in all of this different stuff. But entirely, it helps. When I say it helps, it helps. And just forgive yourself. It's not your fault. So forgive yourself, lighten up on yourself, be able to, talk to yourself and let yourself know everything is okay. You're not the problem. It didn't happen because of you. It happened because of that predator. That's because they have a demonic spirit on them. It was not you. You didn't put yourself in that place. You didn't allow that person to do this. You didn't say, oh, well, come on and come rape me or touch me or, you didn't say these things. So give yourself the leverage to heal. Allow forgiveness also. Forgive those that have wronged you in every situation. And just take things day by day. And I also say, prayfully, just pray. Like, pray and mean it and have it in your heart. Only God knows your heart, but have it a real sincere prayer with God and allow him to come in, his presence to guide you. Allow the Holy Spirit to take over your body and over your tongue and allow him to lead you from this day forward. And it's always okay to go out and talk to someone. Always talk to someone. No matter if you feel like you're not being heard, talk to someone. And if you need to pick up the phone, call somebody that you trust, of course. Make sure that they're very trustworthy. Not someone that you call to gossip with or that's going to be telling the whole world about your situation. Call someone that you absolutely trust and that can guide you to the correct resources. There's plenty, if you're in Fort Bend, Brazoria, Harris County, Hardin County, there's plenty of resources to help you through these situations out here. And just, use Google. You got Google. Google is free. Use it. Use it to the best of your knowledge. Reach out to patient advocates. Reach out to child advocates. I'm a child advocate here in Harris County.
Okay.
So I help children daily on healing and knowing that it's not their fault.
Okay.
I help my child myself. I'm my child's advocate. And if you can't advocate for yourself, nobody will advocate for you.
Okay, y'all. I told y'all it's going to have to be a part 2 because honestly, we didn't even get to go through everything, right? But I just believe this is something that God needed someone to hear. If it's not for everybody, it's for somebody, right? But I also want to congratulate Malia because May 1st, she will be dropping her podcast. So I will have all the information in the description. She also does, tell the people what you do.
I'm a public mobile notary.
Okay.
So if you need anything notarized, any type of paperwork, I am that girl. You can come to me. And yes, the podcast will be dropping May 1st. And just be ready for it. It's going to be a lot more unleashed, uncut, raw trauma on trauma guidance, trauma healing, and trauma stories. So to viewers' discretion. If you can handle it. But if you cannot, take deep breaths, pause, and breathe.
Okay, so yes, discretionary views are advised. Is that how they say it? Mm-hmm. So y'all just want to say thank you again. Thank you for being bold, right? Thank you for coming to share your story. Hopefully this will reach somebody, that right now they might be facing something like this. And now you giving them hope to talk, to tell, to go into their chat room. A guy just got arrested here in Houston some weeks ago by molesting a girl he was messing with, kid, and selling the stuff on the internet. Like, people are really sick, right? And we never know who we lay with or lay amongst, right? And so we just got to be careful, y'all. And this not only happened to little girls, this happened to little boys as well. Yes. So like I told y'all, man, these stories, but they're life-changing stories, right? And I tell people, certain people are this way, that way. And I always tell people, you got to go back to the childhood. Once you go back to the childhood, you can learn so much about people. You can learn so much on even why they act a certain way or why they don't act a certain way, why they always in isolation or why they always outside. A lot of stuff, if you just can go to the childhood, you can be like, wow, now I fully understand. So man, y'all, I pray that this episode helps someone, y'all, even when it comes to marriage and different things like that, like we talked about. Where in the Bible do they tell you to stay with your husband if he fighting you, right? Like, these are the things that we got to start having conversations about. Like, when is the time to leave, right? Because Malia went into a situation feeling like, I finally have what is considered the covenant of God, and then it still didn't work out for her. But how long do you supposed to stay in something like that? And I get people change, right? And I get people work things out, but we just want to have real life people, real life conversations, real answers to what people might be seeking, right? And so I pray that the Speak Unspoken does that for somebody, because something is not always for everybody. But one thing I do know, God told me it would be for somebody. So again, thank you. I will have her back on the show. Hopefully I will be going on her show when it launch or whatever. So you guys stay tuned. But y'all, we have to start having these real conversations, man. And we'll be surprised, even the people that we deal with, why they the way they are. Sometimes people been touched and never told, right? So until next time, don't forget, please like, comment, subscribe, share this story with someone that you might think might be dealing with this right now in real time, or someone that done dealt with it, moved past it, but just want to share it, right? And so if you would like to be a guest on the show, please email us at story@speakunspokentv.com. And so every Tuesday, we want to bring you just transformational life stories, y'all. But like I told y'all, we just getting started. So until next time, speak unspoken, where the silence is loud.